how did you find yourself in IT? Has that always been what you wanted to do, or did you have other plans?
Back in secondary school, I used to have this group of friends, and we all said we wanted to be aeronautic engineers. Jokes on us.
So you know how when you're younger, you said, I said I wanted to be a doctor. And I'm looking back at myself now and say, Dr. Ko, which kind of doctor we done?
As time went on, you begin to get familiar with the realities of life. For example, to probably study that, you have to be out of the country.
Are you feeling stuck in a life decision, in moments that you feel very unsure, in your career, in your marriage, even in your academics? Do you feel alone? This is The Flip, and I am Mayowa, and I bring you stories upon stories of people who have gone through things and who have been able to flip it. So today we have on the show another wonderful guest. Come with me and let's hear their story and see how they flipped it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you. Hello, Mayowa.
Hi, Phil. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm so excited to have you here. Thank you so much for allowing me to drag you and bring you onto this this podcast.
Likewise. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. So, I already know you. So, but our viewers don't know you. I would want for you to do an introduction of yourself, just share something about you, and and then we're going from there.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Hi everyone. My name is Mayowa Koroku. I'm Nigerian, obviously. I work in IT. Fun fact about me, I don't look it, but I'm actually 6'3". In my picture, people say I look short above. I'm happy to be here, basically.
Thank you. Yes, fun fact, Mayowa is really tall. When I stand by it, Mayowa, I'm dwarfed. I'm really dwarfed. Yeah, of course, I'm not a naturally tall person, but I'm not that sure. But when I'm beside Mayowa, he's really he's really tall. Okay, so thank you, Mayowa, for joining me on this podcast. I'm also trying to make this as easygoing, as conversational as possible. I think that the question that comes to mind is, do you want to tell us about your, I would say, journey? Again, how did you find yourself in IT? Has that always been what you wanted to do? Or did you have other plans? You know how when you're younger, you said, I said I wanted to be a doctor. And I'm looking back at myself now and say, Dr. Ko, which kind of doctor we done? So what was it that you always wanted to be? Did you always want to be an IT person? Did you always want to be in the field that you're in now? Or did you pivot after some considerations? Yeah.
I think that's a fantastic question, actually. So I remember back in secondary school, I used to have this group of friends, and we all said we wanted to be aeronautic engineers.
Ooh.
Jokes on us. Because as time went on, you begin to get familiar with the realities of life. So, for example, right, to probably study that, you have to be out of the country,
Yeah.
So an option that wasn't exactly, available to everybody in the group at the time. Right? Let's just suffice to say, I went on to study electrical engineering, right? Because, doctors are the MVPs. I don't do it around blood, right? So that kind of just felt more like, the next best thing for me, so to speak.
I see.
Yeah. But I think in or around my fourth year, so there's this thing called SUES, right?
Yeah.
So I had my first experience, being in the real world or being around electrical engineers. And I remember one afternoon just saying, "Nah, I'm never going to do this." Like, it just didn't feel like, the old theoretical aspect, loving calculations and all of it was great.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of just occurred to me that that was all the fun I would have about it. I didn't see myself, actually practicing or being in the field. It just, kind of did not suit me. So I knew I was not going to practice. For my 400 level, I knew I was not going to practice, right? So when I go back to school, to uni for 500 level, and then we needed to choose electives. So either go to core electrical or go to telecoms. So I really, kind of pivoted towards telecoms. And
Okay.
I absolutely love it. I think probably it was one of the best decisions of my life, because then it had an effect, later on in life on, places where I could work and all of that. So that was my first introduction, basically to the world of IT.
Interesting. I mean, it's funny because I started my career as well in telecoms. Obviously, I did not study telecoms in school, but that was my first job was in telecoms. That's great to hear. I didn't even know that we had this kind of similar backgrounds. So that's beautiful. Okay, so I mean, I think for me, the core of our conversation today would be around. I know that everyone struggles with something in their lives, in the course of their journeys. And this definitely does not have to be something professional. It could just be something on a personal note. It could be something, and if it's professional, that's fine as well. Just one thing that felt like a big hurdle for you that you probably over and over again tried to fix, and it was really proving difficult. And I think the question will be, what was this thing? And eventually, how are you able to tackle it and how are you able to resolve it? For me, success stories are from small to big. They are from everyday things that you set out to do and you're able to achieve, and to that big dream, big vision that you have that makes you a unicorn. Yeah. So, what is that one thing that you would say, oh, I really did struggle with this thing, but eventually by doing this, and that, I was able to overcome it. I mean, it could be systemic in the way that you went about it, or it could have just been a certain step or certain steps that you followed. I mean, I would love to hear that.
So I think for me it's this concept called fear or anxiety, right? So for me it was more of an hybrid of fear and anxiety, because it's really difficult to absolutely separate fear and anxiety, like from my own experience, right? And I struggled with it in my early 20s. Um, not because maybe I had some specific encounters when I was growing up, but none of that happened to me, right? But kind of just felt like, having this feeling of, this uncertainty or this fear of unknown, because you don't exactly know what's going to happen the next second or in the next 1 year. And then I kind of suddenly make it creep into my everyday life, or my interactions with people. So, for example, I could get a phone call, and maybe that's why till now I'm not great at phone calls. I rather you text me than call me, right? I could get a phone call from a family member or a close friend, and I start panicking, like, because you don't know what they want to say. You don't know if anything has happened, right? And then that kind of, you're not conscious about it, but it slowly creeps into how you interact with everybody, right? Or for me, how I decided to interact with people. So, for example, um, a random day, and you're getting a phone call from a friend, but because I haven't heard from that friend in, say, 3 months, before you pick up that call, you are beginning to think, why is this person calling me? And you are beginning to make up all sort of scenarios, right? And then sometimes you can choose not to pick up that call, you know, um, when these habits, when this habit built up repeatedly, for example, it will begin to have, strings or strains on your interaction with these people. For example, they might begin to think, oh, probably you're avoiding them or you're withdrawing from them. And when, to be honest, it is just a you thing, not something has happened between both of you. And then I also realized, for example, when I started working professionally, so because I was working in IT, when you then see calls from your manager, for example, what comes to your head is, oh, something has broken down again, or the application is not working. And maybe probably, and over time I realized that this manager is just calling to check up on you, or because so fear for me or anxiety, to be honest. And it actually did, by the time you get, for example, by the time you get into professional life, I had to learn to deal with it because, again, I was lucky enough to realize that, this is causing strains on my everyday activities or my interactions with people or me myself, right? Because if for no reason you're having anxiety over absolutely nothing, your heart is racing. If you don't check things like this, yeah, you don't know how that will affect you later in life, basically, right? So,
Yeah.
so for me, yeah, it's fear or anxiety. Yeah.
That's very deep. Thank you so much for sharing that. I really can relate when you mentioned that you'd rather have someone send you a text than call you. I completely 100% can relate. I would most definitely have someone send me a text than call me, because there's just something about phone calls that kind of gives me. I sincerely, I can relate 100%, and I'm sure that, interestingly, for people who don't, some people don't get it. They don't understand it. Why can't you just call me? Why can't you just call me? Why do you send me texts? And for me, I feel like text is also a very valid form of communication, right? And when you text me, you've communicated. But some people feel that it's impersonal. They would like you to hear your voice or like to see your face. And apparently, I guess the people that understand it, or the people that get it. And those that don't, they probably just don't. This is very, very key. So how were you able to navigate this? And what did you have to do? Did you have to do anything specific, or what exactly did you do to overcome that?
To be honest, I can't remember exactly where I saw. There was a particular quote I came across one day. Unfortunately for me, I can't remember if it was on the internet or if it was in a movie, but it kind of just resonated with me, and I stuck to it. And every time I find myself in a situation where I'm having anxiety or fear of something, I just say it to myself, and that is it. And maybe not verbatim, right? But okay, so it was more like a scenario the person painted, right?
Okay.
But he started off by saying something along the lines of, there is nothing on the other side of fear, first off. And then this person painted a scenario which I'm going to paint now, right? Now,
Yeah.
so say for example, you are afraid of, you bought a new car, for example, right?
Yeah.
And of course, getting a new car is quite expensive. Like we shouldn't joke about that. And then one of your greatest fears is having an accident with the car,
Yeah.
right? So what you are doing to yourself, according to this person, is you've gotten this car, and you are started driving this car. So 6 months down the line, you are still driving this car.
Yeah.
6 months down the line, you've lived with this fear. Nothing has happened to the car. You've not had accident with the car. But every day of your life, every day you wake up, you are constantly having fear or anxiety that you are going to have an accident with this car. It hasn't even happened, right? So you've suffered for 6 months, you know, unprovoked.
Hmm.
You suffer for 6 months. Now, peradventure, you then have an accident with this car. So this car then hits a wall and then an accident happened. Now you've lived your fear. Now you've
Mm-hmm.
gone ahead to suffer twice
Hmm.
before it actually happened and after it then happened.
Wow.
So, so why are you afraid? So the person then said, why are you then living in fear of something that hasn't happened?
Hmm.
So just live your life, and when it does happen, or when that thing you fear most, when it does happen, then you don't deal with it, and it kind of just makes sense to me. Um, so nobody in IT wants anything to break. You don't want anything to break. So
Yeah.
you are constantly in the fear of something you've done breaking.
Yeah.
So every time you see a call from somebody on your team or a supervisor, your heart skips. So you've been working in a company for 2 years, and every single time you see a call from this person, your heart skips, your heart races, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you've been in fear for 2 months, for 2 years. But when the application then eventually breaks, you are then relieving your fear. So why
Hmm.
not just, hope for the best and expect the worst? I mean, if and just live your life the way you can, you can live it best. I think that's what I heard. It stuck to me, and to be honest, I just since then lived my life that way.
Hmm.
Um, Not try to relieve my fears before it actually happened. Um, there is no fun in it if you are going for a driving test, and then I see people who before going for driving tests, for example, um, they're scared, they're shivering. Young man, the worst that will happen is you feel. You do
Hmm.
it again. Like there's no point like going through the 45 minutes or the 1 hours of you know, and then you are scared. That's just one thing I've stuck by.
Hmm.
And I think it has greatly helped me. I remember very well. A couple of years into my professional career, I had to sit for an exam, and at that point, that exam was not cheap because
Hmm.
compared to what I was earning then, paying for the exam in USD, it wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
It wasn't cheap. And I remember people saying, I mean, apart from the fact that it kind of feels like me jumping the gun, like so the number of years I spent on the job relative to the exam I was taking, it kind of felt rushed.
Okay.
It also felt like, you know, you're wasting money
Hmm.
because obviously you would fail,
Hmm.
you but because I was already, past that stage of, being scared of anything or having fear or anxiety, I mean, you just do it basically.
Yeah.
Just do it. And I mean, I would always say, luckily, I passed. I write.
Well, I'm sure you prepared for it as well.
I mean, absolutely. And I
Yeah.
always tell people. I mean, for people who are cybersecurity professionals, the exam is SSP. So anybody who has done it will absolutely understand why
Hmm.
what I mean, right? I always tell people that, I will say I'm lucky, but it also took 3 months of my life, and I'm saying like
Hmm.
3 months of my life, every day reading and all of that. So if I'm willing to commit after work, uh,
Hmm.
commit 5 hours every day for 3 months to something, then why exactly am I scared of?
Exactly.
So yeah,
Exactly. Wow, Mayowa, that's so profound. That's it almost feel like it's something to really sit down and reflect on. This is really profound. What I love most about what you said is that why relieve something twice? I mean, why suffer for 2 years over something that's yet to happen? When it happens, I mean, even when it happens eventually, you're still going to suffer again.
yeah,
And who knows, it may never ever happen, right? So
absolutely,
why punish yourself so much over something you don't even know whether it will happen or not? That's really profound. And I think that someone watching today would find that also very, very insightful and very impactful. I mean, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Even I have learned something new today. So why stress myself over something when what's the worst that can happen? I like, that question is also something else I heard from you. And I also use it a lot. What's the worst that can happen? If you're able to picture what's the worst that could happen, and you're able to even figure out, okay, so if that worst thing happens, what am I going to do? Once you figure that out, I think it also kind of helps just relieve the stress, and just it gives you some kind of strength to pursue it anyway. And then what if you thought it was going to not go well, or what if it went well? So while you're asking yourself, that's another thing I've heard people say. If you think, oh, what if you fail? Well, what if you don't fail? What if you succeed? So we probably need to ask ourselves these kind of questions more often, the positive ones. What if
Yeah.
someone says, "What if you fail?" Then you ask them, "What if I pass?"
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, because it's like the case of an half empty or half full cup, right? You put a cup there and you ask 10 people. You have some people that will
Yeah.
say, "Oh, the cup is half empty," and then you have other people that will say the cup is half full.
Yeah.
And when you say it's half full, it's a different perspective, right? Because it means that there's an opportunity for it to get filled up. While the person that thinks is a half empty cup feels like it will soon finish. So perspectives are very important in life. I think they drive a lot of what we do, and
Yeah.
I think they kind of pave ways for different outcomes as well. Wow.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I've really enjoyed having this conversation. Thank you so much. I mean, I
Welcome.
can almost already see the import of that, and then in every other thing that you've had to do. But something else that also stood out for me is, the exam that you said you put in for, and someone would have thought it was far ahead of its time for you,
Yeah.
right? But then you were willing to commit five hours, Mayowa.
Yeah,
That's a lot of hours.
which is why anytime I kind of sometimes still get, back then I used to
Mhm.
get a lot of, connections, reaching out, people you don't know, saying, oh bro, how did you do this? How did you? But every time I have, interpersonal calls and I say, oh, I mean, you need a bit of luck with the exam because it's a bit psychometric.
Hmm.
Uh, but then I then end up saying something like, oh, I actually spent 3 months. I completed 3 months of my life. If I don't go further to explain to you what that means, you probably would just think. I remember days when you have to get back from work. Um, you know, of course, with the Lagos traffic of 3 hours going to work and 3 hours coming back, probably you get home by 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and you still have to sit and read till 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, and you're supposed to be up the next morning for 4 or 4:30. You know,
And you did that consistently for three
for three
months.
months. And the funny thing was, again, I don't think I don't want to belittle my inputs or
Mm-hmm.
the hard work in it, but
Mm-hmm.
also I also don't want to be naive of maybe the fact that maybe I was lucky,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, because I mean, at the time, yeah, I mean, I had colleagues who had 10, 15 more years experience than I did, and they had
Mm-hmm.
failed at least 2 or 3 times,
They
right?
had failed twice or thrice. Wow.
So again, and I know back then some of them will make jokes that, oh, because you don't have 3 kids running around the house, right? So which is fine, right? I mean, it's totally right. Yeah, but I mean, it just goes to say that anything you put your mind to, you've got at least a chance. I
Yes,
mean,
yes.
that's why that was I always take out from it that
Mm-hmm.
the least you can do is commit.
The
The the
least, yeah.
least the least you can do for yourself is commit. If it
Hmm.
doesn't go your way, absolutely. Humans are designed. I mean, I always say that humans are designed to pass and fail. If they were able
Mm-hmm.
to fail, the word fail wouldn't exist, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
the worst that would happen is, I mean, you have a fear of something, you've gone ahead, you failed, it has happened, you got it again. I mean, it's live, basically.
Yeah, yeah. This is, I mean, I would definitely not discount the amount of effort that you put in there. Trust me. The truth is, those, I mean, The people that said you don't have 3 kids are also very valid in their thinking.
Yeah.
But the question is, are they able to commit 5 hours every day, okay, to something? Or, for example, say, okay, because I have kids, maybe I give myself a 6 month gap
Yeah, true.
and maybe commit 3 hours. So again, it's all about how you plan these things and how you plan this, because the opportunity that you got presented with, you at least had a level of preparation, and that level of preparation was so intense and it was, it was very huge. Again, of course, there are also always different factors, right, that could then impact the end result. But like you said, you would have said to yourself, I did my best,
Yeah.
right? But then again, another thing that would not make sense is if you wanted to do that exam at that particular timing and you were not willing to commit that much effort into it,
Yeah.
then that would have been like almost just wasting money as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like a total package.
Absolutely.
We don't always say that we have an understanding of what the outcomes will be in everything that we do, but when we put it, we go ahead and do it anyway.
Yeah.
I've heard people say, do it afraid. You're afraid, but just go and do
Just do
it.
it. Just do it.
Yeah. If
Just
you
do
are
it.
shaking, you're shivering, go and do it. I mean, just go there. And you'll find out that I think the worst part is the part where you were afraid. The moment you get into it, you realize that somehow the fear just dissipates. As you continue to do, the fear dissipates. Thank you so much, Mayowa. This has been such a wonderful time.
Yeah.
And I've
Yeah.
even gotten to know much more about you now. And my level of respect has gone higher. Someone willing to do 5 hours of reading for 3 months, that's a lot of reading, my bro.
Uh,
Respect.
thank
Well
you.
done. Well done. And thank you so much. I also know that
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
you're a very busy person. So thank you for sharing this part of yourself with us and for sharing this very profound insights. I am very sure that anyone who is serious about getting better in their lives, in their personal development goals and or general life, career, or anything really, would find this very impactful. And then most importantly, for someone who had the same issue, around fear and anxiety, I think that this will be very helpful to them. And so thank you for sharing and thank you for coming on board most
Thanks
chat
for
room.
having me.
It
Thanks
was
for
great
having me.
having you. All right. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. Have a wonderful time. Wishing you all the best in your new endeavors. And peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one too. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much, Mayowa.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Wow, people. This was amazing. I mean, I have learned a lot. I have learned a lot. I hope you were able to bring out your learnings. My hope is that if you have to watch this again, just watch it again and bring out your learnings, especially if you can relate to the things that Mayowa had talked about. We all have that one thing or two things that we struggle with in life. And we will be having more and more of these episodes, and people will be sharing real things that they have had to struggle with and they have had to overcome, and would learn how they were able to overcome it. And it will be amazing. It will be amazing and helpful to all of us. So thank you for joining us on this episode of Most Church Room. And we're looking forward to more interesting ones. Have a nice one. Thank you.